Hi everyone, and welcome to Simple Software University class SIM 101. In this one we're going to start with the basics. We're actually going to install SimpleIndex on the system for the first time, and we're also going to go through the settings wizard to see some of the options in there, and then we'll run a job just to kind of see what things look like in the very first job and explain some of the processes that you'll find in SimpleIndex. So for starters, we've got the installer on the desktop here. Just double click it and it'll do the usual Windows kind of thing, extract a few files, look at your system resources, and eventually it's going to bring us to a prompt here so we can choose which components to install from the SimpleSoftware suite. And just choose next. We'll keep the default location, and then here you can either do a full install, which puts our entire document management suite on there. You can do SimpleIndex only, or you can actually go in and select which components. If you were to take a look at that one, you'll see that we have SimpleSend, SimpleView, of course SimpleIndex, and then the Simple Cover Sheet. So if you wanted to not install certain ones of these, you could just click and disable those particular features. I'm going to go back and actually do the full install here. And this takes, a minute or so, so I'm just going to jump ahead here in the video in just a moment, and we'll take a look at it once it's installed. Alright, so now that the program has installed, we have an option here to launch the program. When we hit finish, you'll see that the SimpleIndex icon has appeared on the desktop. So let's go ahead and do that. Now when SimpleIndex launches for the first time and you don't have it activated yet, you're going to have three options here. You can launch SimpleIndex, so we'll be in demo mode at that point. We can go into the Simple Search demo, which is explained in a different video, but Simple Search just performs searching, no scanning and indexing is the short version. And then we can also just close out of the program. Also, if you had received your activation code, you would enter it right here and activate the software, but we're going to work in demo mode for right now, so let's launch SimpleIndex. And it'll advise you that we are in fact running in demo mode, and that all of the images you create at this point in time will be watermarked with the word demo. So make sure you're always working with copies of your files and not working with any originals, because that watermark is permanent. Okay, so now here we are in SimpleIndex for the first time. And we can go in to our global settings wizard. Always a good place to start. What the Global Settings Wizard does is let you kind of pre-configure where your files are stored to, where your SimpleIndex jobs are stored to, and also control some security settings and that sort of thing. We're going to work with just the basic, but if you were to go into advanced, you would have some options for some security, for setting up Windows services if you're doing that sort of thing. But let's just step through in the basic mode for now. Here's our license activation screen. So you can see we do have some other products that installed with SimpleIndex. They're lit up in red. So if I had my licenses for those products, I could go ahead and enter them right now and activate those products without having to go to the products individually to activate them. We're just going to skip on past this one because we're going to stay in demo mode. And then here you have the default job configuration folder. Where is SimpleIndex going to put jobs by default? Now obviously you can put them anywhere you want on your system, and for most of you doing this playing the home game, you'll see C:/images. I'm using a different account on this machine, so I'm putting them in a slightly different place, and we can tell it to copy the sample jobs to this folder. Sample jobs are just some jobs we already have set up to kind of let you work with some of the basic features that SimpleIndex can do to kind of help learn. So it's always a good idea to go ahead and copy those jobs onto your machine. Also, you have an option here to show open job automatically on start, and we'll check that one too. What that does is the first time you launch SimpleIndex, it goes straight to the open job screen. It's just a handy little feature that saves you a couple of clicks whenever you're running SimpleIndex. And then here's a few other options. We have some file associations. You can, if you did install SimpleView and you want to use it, you can make your computer always open TIFFs directly into SimpleView, always open PDFs directly into SimpleView, and you can also add a little browse with SimpleView to your right-click menu in Explorer. So if you're in a folder and you want to look at that folder very quickly in SimpleView, you could just right-click and you would see this option here. We're going to move past that one and we'll just finish. Okay, so now we have our jobs in that default location. If I go to Open Job here, we'll see that there's this folder called Samples, and then inside that we've got the various default SimpleIndex configurations, and you'll use these throughout the other classes in SimpleSoftware University, so it's a good idea to install them. I'm going to go into invoice processing here and open the very first job. It says A, read invoices with zone OCR. Let's just double click on that one and open it up. Now this job actually has a series of files that it's going to identify an account number, an order number, and a company using OCR processes. And to run a job in SimpleIndex, you just hit the green light here, the button that says Run Job. Kind of hard to miss. And so as this is going through, you can see it's filling in the blanks there automatically. And when it finishes, it takes you into this kind of a verification screen. And in SimpleIndex, you can either have things go through automatically, or you can go to this verification mode where the user gets to kind of double check all of the information that was captured by SimpleIndex. So again, since this is kind of an intro, we're not going to get into exactly how everything was captured here. We did use OCR, and we'll talk about that more in some other videos, but I just want to give you an idea of how some of the basic data entry works on SimpleIndex. You'll notice that we captured this account number here, we have an order number, and we also have the company name. We have some mouse actions down here, so right now I'm set to zoom in, so if I wanted to go over here I could just drag a little box and zoom in. Now I can see that account number a little more clearly if I wanted to change it. You can also pan around the document with the hand here. You do have options to OCR something over to the field just by highlighting it. It'll fill it in. Annotations, crops. Now up here in our index fields, if we did need to make a correction, let's say that was actually a 3 and it got misread, I can just go in here, backspace, put in a 3. Now the very important thing here is I want to make sure that I hit Save Index once I've made any corrections. If I don't click Save Index and just go on to the next page, that change I made does not get stored. So we'll hit Save Index here and you'll see it automatically goes to the next page. And just to illustrate again, let's go back and we'll change this one. Now you notice here when I backspaced, the number turns red, and that's indicating that I've got a template set. In this case, I'm telling it I'm always looking for a 7-digit number for that account number, and if what I'm entering doesn't match that template, I don't have a 7-digit number here, it's red. And if I try and save that, it'll actually tell me that I've entered an incorrect number and I have to correct it before I can save the index. So let's go back, we'll put this back the way it was, 6.5, and then I can save index and it'll let me go on. Another feature that you'll have here on the verification screen, you can rotate pages. If something came in the wrong way, you can rotate it manually. You'll also find that blank pages are marked for deletion. That's something we talk about in another video, how you can turn that feature on. And the last thing I want to show you here is this grid view. And grid just lets you go to any page kind of at a glance. You can see where information was captured. If something was missing, there would be a blank line there and you can jump to it right away. And you can also double click on any of those to go back to the full screen mode. So I can go to grid here, go down to page 7 and double click it. Now I've got page 7 in the full screen mode. And then really the last thing we need to talk about is how do you finish a job in SimpleIndex. So once we've gone through and just saved our indexes for every page, I'm just going to click through quickly and do that. When we get to the last page and we save that very last index, it's going to tell me that everything now has an index value. Do I want to release the batch? I'll tell it I do. And so what it did is exported all of those files. It made some new TIFFs. It created a series of folders based on the account number. And then if we go inside there, we'll find these TIFFs that are named based on the order number and the company. So SimpleIndex just added those and created the TIFFs automatically. I can look at the TIFF here. And you'll notice that this one also opened up that folder automatically, and that's another setting that we control within SimpleIndex. We had it show us the export folder as soon as the job was finished, so you can go verify your results right away. So that's kind of a look at the basics of SimpleIndex, and we'll talk to you soon in another video. Thanks.